You can't fly, baby Jesus. You can't fly. Hello there, everybody. Vatolicious here. Finally got the Mr. Pandaria beta. Maybe it's a little bit late. Maybe people won't be that interested in MoP anymore since everybody's in the beta. But I'm going to be doing in-depth class sort of look over and see what's changed for just about every class. I don't know anything about shamans or druids, but I might be able to find somebody who knows and we'll be able to talk on that point. But I figured I'd start off with the first thing that I was inclined to do when I logged into the game was make a monk tank, because I didn't really understand how it was going to work. Now, judging by what I've talked to other people, I ran some dungeons and I talked to them and they don't seem to understand it either. Nobody really that I've talked to seems to understand exactly how monks are supposed to tank. People seem to be under the impression that it works like bear tanking, where all your agility and stuff gets turned into extra mitigation and avoidance and stuff. But we'll go ahead and we'll just take a look here at my defense tab. I have 11.631 or whatever thousand armor, and that only reduces physical damage taken by 30%. Now that's not very high. Dodge 16.79%, very low. 5% parry, which I don't even know if that's anything higher than base. 0 block, and I got 158,000 hit points with fortitude and a flask of steel skin on. Now, how am I supposed to avoid getting my shit pushed in? Well, there's two stances as a brew master, which is the tank monk. You've got this stance of the fierce tiger, which increases all damage done by 20% and allows the use of abilities under jurisdiction of the white tiger, such as blah blah blah. So that's like sort of my I'm a tank but I need to go questing sort of stance. And that's probably the windwalker stance as well. But what you want to be using is this stance of the sturdy ox. It says reduces damage taken by 20%, reduces the chance to be critically hit by 6%, and increases your chance to stagger damage by 25%. Now, stagger is a mechanic that is monk specific, I would assume. They're not adding it to anyone else. I haven't heard that. But stagger is where it says you shrug off attacks, causing 50% of the damage to happen instantly, and the remaining 50% to be divided over 9 seconds. Brewmaster Mastery reduces the after effect of stagger. So basically, you take half damage up front, and then the rest of the damage from that hit will come to you in the form of a dot. Now, the more mastery you have, the less that dot is going to hit you for. So I have 18 mastery, and that reduces the damage taken by stagger by 20%. So I'm only taking 50% damage up front, and then 30% of the rest of the damage is coming to me in a dot. And then it also increases the effect of my guard ability by 20%. Now, as a monk, much like a death knight, you don't have block. You know, monks have less armor, less mitigation, and no block. At least for now, they have less armor and less mitigation. But they have this ability called guard. It requires 2 chi. Now, chi is a second resource for monks. Now, they have energy, much like a rogue, and it works just the same way. But you have these different abilities. Like, these are just basic sort of attacking abilities. Oh, hi there, friend. Baby Jesus. You can't fly, baby Jesus. You can't fly. I'm so sorry, baby Jesus. Oh no! He sacrificed himself for us again. Anyway, these abilities down here. Clobber is just the most basic of sort of chi building abilities. And then there's this Tiger Palm, which does more damage and it requires 1 chi. Now chi stays with you, which is nice. So you build the chi with this and with this and a couple other abilities, and you also gain chi when you're hit. So you want to have this guard ability up as often as possible. It requires 2 chi and it will put a little bubble on you. And it says you guard against future attacks, absorbing 31,688 damage for 8 seconds. Any heals you apply to yourself while guarding are increased by 36.3%. Now, that's your block ability. So I'll go ahead and hit guard right here. And it puts the little bubble. I'm sure they're going to change that because it's just the old priest bubble. It's not even the new one. But that's your block ability. It only lasts, it says 8 seconds, but it only shows 4 seconds when I actually put it on. Very interesting. Now you can self-heal yourself, it says, and all your heals while you're guarding are 36.3%, very exact, 36.3% more effective. Now there are a few ways to heal yourself as a monk. One of my favorite abilities is this, called Expel Harm. Instantly heal yourself for 1,107 and causes 100% of the amount healed to instantly be dealt to a nearby enemy as damage within 5 yards. So I just, boom, insta-heal myself there. It heals a lot more than it says in the tooltip. It healed me for about 9k there. And there's also this ability, Healing Sphere. All monks seem to have this. Seems to be just a monk ability across the board. You put a healing sphere out of healing mists at the target location for 2 minutes. If allies walk through it, they consume the sphere, healing themselves for 4,736. Maximum of 3 healing spears can be active by the monk at any given time. So, you can go ahead and line these little babbies up like so. And let's say I am tanking the boss. I don't have any chi to do this right now, but I will be putting up guard. And let's say I'm fighting the boss, and I need a heal. So I have guard up, I back up into this thing, boom, it heals me. Fighting the boss, get guard up again, boom, heals myself. Pretty sick. Fighting, same thing, take the third one. So that's a pretty cool sort of way to do it. It also would be good for going out trying to solo something, because you see those healed me for quite a bit, especially if I had guard on and they increased it by 36.3%. That would have been, you know, about a 25,000 heal. So I would have been able to heal my entire life bar by just backing up 3 times, you know, so it's pretty good. And not to mention, you combine that with the Expel Harm ability, you've got a lot of self-heal, and the monks have a lot of cooldowns for a tank. Now, the paladin tanks, and I haven't quite gotten to warrior yet, but I will do all of the classes in depth. The paladin tanks, for at least, don't have many defensive cooldowns anymore. They've taken some of them out of the game. So we'll go over a few here. Elusive Brew is sort of your most used one, because it's got the shortest cooldown on it. Increases your chance to dodge melee and ranged attacks by 50% for 10 seconds. That's pretty much one you're using on cooldown. And I'm going to figure out some macros and stuff to actually write that into my clobber, because that's a necessity. You get hit so insanely stupid hard as a monk. Now in the beta, they didn't give any tanking gear necessarily. Like, I have 2 tanking trinkets. This is a stam trinket that gives you mastery, I guess, chance on hit to increase mastery, which is, you know, cool. But I like the static mastery trinket a lot better, even though this one can grant you 1,149 mastery for 20 seconds. That's insane. And 575 stam. If I didn't have that, my health pool would be pitifully low. Yeah, I took all the stam mastery gems out and just put in all mastery gems once I realized that was my only way of avoiding damage. I do have 81 stam and 2% armor in the helm, but I can't get to a major city. There's a bug in the beta where some pandas, most pandas, and I should say, can't use portals at all. Even if you're a mage, you can't seem to go to Orgrimmar. I don't know if that's intentional. They're not really intending for us to have pandas there. I don't know. So unless you can get that on your own, you can't seem to go. Because I've got a lot of hit, haste, crit, hit, crit. Like, it's all melee DPS gear is effectively what I'm wearing. And there's not a whole lot of benefit for that. I mean, I'm hit capped, certainly. I've got a decently high crit chance for a tank, and I got some nice haste. Pretty dope, but it's not helping me, so I'd like to reforge all this to mastery and hope I don't die, but you can't seem to do that right now. But the defensive cooldowns, that's what we were talking about. Here's another one. Ring of Peace. Forms a sanctuary around you, causing all enemies to be unable to attack or cast harmful spells while within it. Lasts 10 seconds. That's pretty cool. Now there's no animation for it right yet, so I would show that to you, but there's nothing. I use it and nothing happens. I get a buff, but that's it. There's also this. Dematerialize. You escape your physical form, dematerializing you into ether, increasing your chance to dodge by 100% and providing immunity against magic damage and harmful effects for 3 seconds. I used that once, and it's a channel. You have to sit there and do it, and I lost aggro. So I don't necessarily know if that's a good one for tanking, because in the talents you've got a lot of different things you can pick, and I picked all the ones that seemed the best for PvE tanking. Like a lot of these other ones are just PvP talents where you can slow people and you become faster and different things like that. But I don't think this one's really good for PvE, because like I said, I lost aggro instantly. And this one is, I guess, the best. Reduces all damage taken by 99% and redirects to you all harmful spells cast against raid targets within 30 yards. Last 8 seconds. Being the victim of a melee attack will break your meditation, cancelling the effect. So actually, that's not the best one. That's good if you're sort of tanking a boss at ranged, or you need to stand in fire or something like that. I don't know. So realistically, this one I don't think works on bosses, but it's good for, like, if you've pulled way too much, you can just pop that and nobody can attack you for 10 seconds. This one loses aggro, and that's pretty good. 50% dodge is pretty good, but that still only brings my dodge up to 66.79%. Which, sure, that's good, since dodge, you know, you don't take any damage. It's not like a block where you just take less damage. That's pretty good, but it's only every 45 seconds. You compare that to another tank with a lot more armor, a lot more parry, and a block. Like my paladin, I don't know how he is now, but in live, he's not even that well geared, and all this shit adds up to over 100%, you know, so I've stopped getting mastery and stuff like that. So I'm never without at least blocking a target. So beta is beta. There's still not even, if you look in the talents, they still haven't even gotten all the talents in here, and maybe there's a lot more to the monk that I just don't understand. Like there's this roll mechanic. Maybe I'm supposed to be using that to tank. Maybe I'm supposed to roll away from the boss. I don't know how that's gonna work necessarily. There are a lot of different things with the monk tank, but nothing really super relevant to tanking. Increases my health 100%, but I cannot be healed. Like that's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's really not. Get the spinning crane kick. One other thing that you have as a brewmaster, or you have it as anybody, but this statue, you can put that out, and depending upon what spec you are, it'll change the ability that it gives out. Now, if I right click on it, it gives the guard ability. Now, anybody in my party can right click on it and get that bubble, you know, absorbing however many 30,000 and then increasing monk heals against them, which is nice. I do like that. If you put that statue up, then you can then use that and not have to spend your chi on guard, which is very nice. I don't know how many charges this has. Quite a few, it looks like. So that's a cool ability, but don't put that up near a boss before you've pulled, because it absolutely will aggro the boss. So my sort of end decision on Brewmaster is that I don't really like it as of yet. It might be better once I can get some actual tanking gear, because I just get my shit pushed in way too hard, and I don't like that. They're fun, they're cool to play, they have a lot of cool abilities, but I think it's time to kill myself, because I'm too squishy. I was never meant for this world, I'm a stupid panda! Oh, poor little guy.